So these are not talking about any products at all. I'm not even going to talk about traps yet. We're going to talk about the things that you can do simply at a Home Depot and just being observant for the outside and inside. Okay. Old homes, new homes, $1 million homes, $300 a month homes, apartments. There's places to look for. And I'm just going to start. All right. Let's start behind the stove. You have a basement, and a pipeline feeds from the basement on up to the stove. Just simply check behind the stove and see if there's a gap. There's two things that you can use. No, three things. This is your eyes, steel wool, and putty or foam. Okay, steel wool is the best. Your eyes and steel wool are the best tools. You're going to use your eyes to look for any cracks and voids. Rule of thumb is if it's a quarter size, an ant can fit into that hole because their spine is, they can fit. What if their head can fit in, their whole body can fit in. That's something that I've always learned in class. So what you want to do is you want to use your eyes to look around the foundation, look in the attic, look in the basement, and just use your eyes. You're going to identify droppings. There's so much, but I'm just going to just get to the bare minimum for now. You look for droppings, right? You look for droppings. You look for insulation, like especially what I just said behind the stove. If you see insulation coming outside, if you start to see that, because there's insulation in the stove, that means you have a mouse problem, okay? You see droppings, you have a mouse problem. Health is very bad for your health to have mice because the urine can actually, it's not good for your body. All right, so we'll just get to the bare minimum, right? And then I'm just going to expand later. Maybe I'll just do this whole month of just mice. But you're going to use your eyes. We talked about that. Next thing is you look for steel wool. Now, there's certain types of steel wool that are very much used. Not the soft steel wool, not Brillo from a dishwashing that you get from a dollar store. This has to be copper steel wool, okay? That's something you have to look up. Is copper steel wool. Very, very tough. They cannot chew through it. All right. Now, if this is a crack, right? Um, let's say the crack is about this long, from my hand to my elbow. I would suggest foaming that, but steel wool is the best. Why I say that? Because the steel wool, if you have a small hole, you can just simply just stuff that in. So you have radiators, if you have an old home, around the radiator pipes, you have around the pipes under the sink, behind the stove, behind the kitchen sink. Any cracks and voids, you use that steel wool, okay? And you use that part. That's something you use for little teeny holes. But you could use it for like a foot, but it's just, I would say you would need something like a foam because you could use more of that. But you can find steel wool. It comes in a lot. So you can use as much as you want. That's the best thing. Reason why I mentioned foam last because if the mice are aggressive and it's cold enough, they're gonna find their way to get in no matter what. Steel wool, they can't chew through that. Their teeth, it's not good for their teeth. So they're not gonna chew through that at all. Okay? It has to be copper steel wool. I wish I had some, but I can't, but I'll show you one day. But that's the thing to use. The foam you can use, like I said, you go to Home Depot, it foams and puffs up. And you can go around the cracks and the voids and things like that to use that. This is also good for the foam because you don't want any air to come in into your house. So you use that, basically in the basements, attics, um, exterior if need be. It's like a yellowish color. It's good. Like I said, it's good, but if they're really aggressive, they can chew right through that. So the first major thing to use is steel wool copper. All right. Another thing is at this season, make sure you keep your food, your bread, your cheese, all that stuff in storage. Okay. Don't bring something for them to come in. Also, the shrubs around the house. Make sure that you don't have too much bushes or anything like that that is close to the house, because that's where their home is. Like they can have a home around the bushes. So if you have really thick bushes, they can easily get into the basement, and then they can have a family in your house. Um, One thing I want to mention that's very, very, very important, and this is for all seasons, not just the winter time, is keep your garbage cans at bay. Okay, this is not only just for mice, but also for any kind of rodents or any kind of wildlife. You don't want them, because if it's close to your house, this is for any pest, by the way, for ants, anything. If it's close to the house, they're just going to bridge right into your home. Okay, so keep it at bay. All right. At my house, it's about 100 feet. My garbage cans, very far away, and my wife gets on me about any kind of trash or food trash close to the house, because they can get to they can easily get into the house. It's leading animals in. All right, so this is just part one. First thing to do is use your eyes, steel wool, and foam. All right, the most important things to use is your eyes and steel wool. All right, thank you. Have a good day. I'm going to do a part two.